Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Return of the Obra Dinn. I did kind of a bad end before and left before finishing off the book, but so I saw the bad end, we now know that. Now we've actually managed to figure out the last few after learning that the guy was in Morocco this whole time. Not sure where we would have figured that out. Maybe a little bit of guessing that he was in Africa instead of the two islands that were much closer to the ship at the time. Now we just have one chapter to finish up. And this is how we're going to find out. Yep, let's do it.
There you are. Collect your things.
Where's the key?
To that door. Gone.
Damn.
There's no time. We need to go.
Right. Can you go?
What are you up to?
Nothing good.
Oh! That's that guy. That's a claw from one of these creatures. Okay, it looks like he was spiked. This guy... What the hell happened to him? His hand is... Oh dear. Well, let's finish it. A friendly but not entirely pleasant monkey companion was sacrificed in the pursuit of knowledge. Two others were present, the steward and the surgeon. Well, let's find out what happened to you.
A third shell. The captain didn't toss them all. Leave it. Help me lift it. Stop! Why? Well, set you free. Give it the shell. Here. Do it.
Hoist it out. To the main deck. Throw it over. Lock the door when you leave.
Get the tail, boy.
In return, the ship. The Obra Dinn. See it home.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Hoisted it out by the tail. That's... I think... Okay, it's pretty clear he died by getting spiked by something, but... A third shell. What are these shells? And what is that? Martin Prescott met an unknown fate. I'm gonna say he was spiked. The beast. Wait! They did bring some of those mer creatures down. I think I'm getting an idea here. Wait. There's something in here.
I'll kill every last one of you monsters! Withdraw the Kraken, or I will kill you all!
That's a shell. Still don't know how he died, but... They did say that he was below deck, and the Kraken vanished afterwards. I think I'm putting this all together at last and understanding what happened. A captured beast fought against its jailer and was speared for the trouble. Another one.
Call it off, damn you! This is your Kraken! You brought it here! Send it back!
The Kraken attacking and everything. I'm putting this all together. Once we get through this, I'm going to open up the book and go through everything and say what I think is going on here. Oh boy. And unholy creature's defiant shrieks were greeted with a fatal bullet. The last person. The steward.
What's this? Quicksilver. Herre min Gud!
Quicksilver. So that's... He burned as he grabbed the shell. This shell that is continually... They've mentioned the shell multiple times. Okay, I'm gonna go through this soon, once I actually write down what happened to him. The captain's steward... burned. Well done, all fates correct. He burned to death, and he was spiked. Okay, before I close this, I'm going to go through everything in order to try and figure it out. Loose cargo. This is a very simple one. They were loading cargo onto the ship when there was a small accident and it fell, crushing one of the crushing Samuel Peters, one of the seamen. There was also a stowaway in a barrel who died in the barrel. Unfortunate for him. Excuse me. A bitter cold. This one, well, partway through the trip, just off the coast of Portugal, there was a rash of illness. Two of the Indian seamen, Solomon Said and Renfred Rajoub, both had some sort of lung disease that caused both of them to die. There was also a cow that was killed. Nothing else of note there. Then the story really began off the Canary Islands. Here, let's see. The second mate, Nichols, happened to see this chest that the Fomorians were carrying, and he wanted it for himself. He went and knocked out the guard, but as he did, one of the passengers happened to see him, Nunzio Pasqua. As he went to investigate, Edward decided to defend himself by killing Edward Nichols and blaming it on the guard, Hock Sang Lao. Hock Sang Lao was thusly blamed and executed for what happened. As it says, "You have been found guilty by self-confession of the Wait, self-confession? Anyway, moving on, it moved on to when Edward Nichols was basically taking the chest itself and running. There was a bit of a struggle, and this topman here, Timothy Bootman, well, in his attempt to stop him, he got shot, and nothing happened with him. Unfortunately, they managed to escape. Out on the sea, the 8 people who were there started, well, heading out. It was, keep due course due east. Will reach Canaries in 3 days. They have enough stores. As they speak, talking about how they hope they'll get there, they won't be able to escape. The others, the Fomorians, just get more nervous, the 2 that were taken. They both speak about the monsters and how the chest must not get into the ocean. And then the monsters show up, these mer people, arriving by spearing one of them, Li Tong. Then a great fight goes on. People are killed and shot by spears, eaten by the beasts. In the struggle, Itbang Sia manages to break free of his bonds, kills the second mate steward, and then proceeds to open up the chest. When he does, something bursts out of it and just starts, well, killing the other ones, or doing something to them. I don't know what. He burns to death in the process. Edward Nichols, the only one left, heads back to the ship, only to be shot as he returns, by the other Fomorian guard. Unfortunate. Before he could say anything to defend himself. Unholy captives. They proceed to take the beasts that happen to be there and start carrying them downstairs into imprisonment to try and learn about them and what the hell is going on. Unfortunately, the beast wakes up and proceeds to kill the remaining guard, the only Fomorian who knew anything more, and the seaman who was holding him. Then the creature that was being taken down happened to attack someone and kill him with its tail. This guy was crushed by the thing that was there, and then apparently later on there was some sort of disagreement. The ship's steward, basically those ungodly beasts carry a curse, throw them back or doom us all, and he's just thrown into the lazarette with those demons. They're just calling them demons. This guy just dies due to the disagreement. I don't know what happened there. Soldiers of the Sea. Summoned by a bolt of lightning, beasts, demons come from the ocean and swarm over the ship. Some sort of crab or spider creatures ridden by other beasts who proceed to rampage through the ship, killing several of the people on board. They are eventually burned and destroyed, but not without heavy casualties. They make for the lazarette. Obviously, they were going to try and rescue the mer people. After that came the doom, with the great Kraken attack. There was... well, the Kraken showed up and started killing everyone. There wasn't much to say here. So many people died. Several were thrown into the water and drowned. There was really no chance to survive. The ship was going to go down until this happened in the lazarette. Earlier on, it seems that the steward saw the shell in the quicksilver and pulled it out and burned to death in the process. Back in the lazarette during the attack, the captain went down to the creatures they had imprisoned in there. He demanded that they call off the Kraken. When the first one said no, it got shot. When the second one said no, he proceeded to kill it. I guess it was then called off. Whatever this was, it happened later on. I'll get to that later. After that came escape. I guess people, having had enough of all this and wanting no more, just after the Kraken attack. Well, that guy died from the Kraken attack, and then several people, some of them passengers, decided, this is enough, we're out of here, this trip is cursed. And in another struggle to escape, well, they escaped, killed 2 in the process. And then there was a couple people talking about the captain being untrustworthy. Oldest Wieter here, the gunner's mate, basically decided, we're going to commit mutiny. We don't want to deal with the captain anymore. And there was another struggle as a couple people fought over it, and eventually that ended. And then finally came the end. The only 4 people left, they decided they had enough of the captain. And, well, it seems that, I believe, the last bit of the bargain happened between those 2 events. After those people died, they went down to see the creatures, and they found the 3rd shell and the remaining creature. As it says, the 3rd shell Captain didn't toss them all. Leave it, help me lift this. Stop, wait, we're to set you free. Give it the shell. And then Martin Perot, the 3rd mate, basically took the creature and basically... oh. He gave the shell to the creature and told it, basically, that's the bargain. We'll give you the shell and let you go, and in exchange, just make sure the Obra Dinn gets home. Which explains how it got back. And a friendly but not entirely pleasant monkey companion was sacrificed in the pursuit of knowledge. Oh. Now I understand why we had this. The hand belonged to this monkey. This is long after everything else happened. This is the surgeon and the steward, 2 of the people who survived. They came back onto the ship, threw the monkey in, shot it dead, and took the hand. And that's how we could get into all this. The door was locked. There was no way we would have seen it. And then came everything that happened in the end, with the last survivors all being killed before the captain finally committed suicide. And that's what happened. That's the story. The time has come to leave. There's nothing else to do here. And the end. Let the credits roll. Because that was a hell of a story and a hell of a game. Wow. I loved that. It was a bit frustrating how I got the bad ending because I was hoping to find more information and I went about it wrong, but still. This was very well put together. A lot of the stuff here, there were many things that you could figure out through. It was blatant telling you, Captain! Okay, he's the captain. And the guy he shot, okay, a little deduction to figure out he's his brother. Then later on, you had to make guesses and assumptions. As you saw, I see someone walk out of a room. Obviously, that's the carpenter because he's coming out of the carpenter's room. Later on, I do some further investigation and find the maid inside. Honestly, it's probably a good thing I didn't find him before, or I would have been unsure which was which. And then I start having to look at the diagram to figure out, okay, how are these people dressed? That'll tell me who they are and what they are. And that was how I managed to figure out things, like, okay, the mates, the stewards of the mates all are dressed in this sort of way, and the seamen are all up at the topmen are all at the bottom, all this sort of stuff. Other things that were a bit stereotypical, but you could figure it out. The Indians who spoke in Islamic were, well, one of them was wearing, well, that right there. It was headgear that looked proper. The one from Persia was wearing a turban. The Fomorians, they, well, I mean, that was obvious. It said Fomorian royalty. And eventually, I got as much as I could, and it finally reached a part where I basically just had to start guessing. There was no way to tell which woman was which of the passengers, so I had to make a guess. There was no way of knowing which of the three Russians was which. All that sort of stuff. But it all worked out. Eventually, through guessing, deduction, and all this was very, very well put together, and a very good game. I really enjoyed it. Anyone who watched me play this, you basically know how it ends, unfortunately. You know how the whole thing goes through. So, the game may not be the same for you. Hopefully, you actually played it before watching me do this, and figured it out on your own, and are just watching this after. I don't know. Either way, this has been a fantastic game. Now that we're finally done with the Obra Dinn, it's time to move on to another game. And I already have one recorded and ready to go. Next time we'll be doing some more puzzle solving, although not quite the same. Till then, I'm Chester44. This has been Return of the Obra Dinn. And I shall see you all next time.